So we both agree Trevor Lawrence is the first quarterback going next year. I don't think there's anybody ahead of him. But like there's two guys that are up in contention. They're saying could sneak into the top 5, definitely the top 10. Who do you think's the next one going?
The next person going should be Justin Fields. He was a highly recruited player out of high school, went to Georgia, transferred to Ohio State.
He was on Netflix.
So, I mean, that's one plus for him. However, he doesn't have a lot of game tape against quality competition. Now, not to say Ohio State didn't play quality competition. However, this year would have been very integral to him being the number 2 pick, in my opinion, not only just the number 2 quarterback. The other thing that's going to play against him is the combine's going to look a lot different this year, provided nothing changes in the world. Now, we're looking at potentially not having pro days, not having everybody in Indy for the actual throwing, whether he would throw or not. And for a guy like that, I would highly recommend him going back to Ohio State. If not, our team's going to be willing to take the chance on him if there's a premier pass rusher out there or a receiver with some speed. That's questionable. But, I mean, what do you think?
The guy I'm going with, I would go with the other guy there, Trey Lance down in North Dakota State. Obviously, they're doing some good things down there with quarterbacks. Carson Wentz came in a couple years ago, and he showed that he can play at this level. He's a very good quarterback. Unfortunately, he's been plagued by injuries, but he is a Pro Bowl caliber quarterback, and they're saying Trey Lance is the next guy there. That being said, he's only played 1 year. He had a huge year, 28 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. That's as perfect as it can be. But with the lack of competition in Division II football, I think it's very hard for him to not go back. Does he have the skills? 100%. The big arm, the size, the mobility. They're comparing to Michael Vick-like abilities out of the pocket. Rushed for 1,000 yards last year on top of throwing for almost 3,000. But once again, with the lack of the competition, I don't know how you have to get as much game film as you can. So him losing this year, kind of what you said about like there's no pro days, there's no indie time for the combine. I think he should go back. Could it hurt him down the road? Maybe it's one, but for that 1 year, I think both these guys are in that position where there's just not enough there yet.
Right.
And it means a GM, like I don't know if I could reach.
Both high ceilings, but I mean the floor could be a complete miss. And I mean, do you really want to make that mistake? Because that's the kind of mistake that loses you your job.
And lose your job, and that's 5 years off your franchise.
Yeah.
So without those guys getting the real looks and the real evaluations, I don't think you can be in that position to take them in those spots. Right. So I think you're kind of safer just going what you have or building a team around you. So I hope maybe next year when they do come up, you can take them then.
Yeah. And, you know, it might even break down that those guys that are supposed to be at the top of the first round fall to the bottom of the first round. And, you know, the teams that are perennial winners end up with fantastic quarterbacks. And, you know, that's a great situation for both.
The rich get richer, right?
That's how it is.